Time is life's most precious currency. Unlike money, once it's spent, you can never earn it back. Every tick of the clock is a chance to create, to learn, to grow and to live meaningfully. Yet, so many of us treat time as if it were unlimited, letting hours slip away into distractions, regret, or procrastination. But imagine, just for a moment, if every minute of your life carried intention. Imagine if every moment was working for you, not against you. This audiobook is about reclaiming time, not by rushing, not by cramming, but by learning how to live fully in every moment. Let's begin our journey. Pause for a moment and imagine this. Someone hands you a golden coin every 60 seconds. Each coin has the potential to buy you progress, wisdom, joy, or connection. Yet, once that coin slips from your hand unused, it vanishes forever. This is what every minute of your life represents. A golden coin of opportunity. And the tragedy is that most people let their coins fall to the ground without realizing their worth. We often believe that value is hidden only in the big moments, the graduation, the promotion, the wedding day, the major breakthrough. But life is not made of grand events alone. Life is constructed from the thousands of small, almost invisible moments that lead up to them. Just as a house is built brick by brick, your destiny is built minute by minute. When you learn to see the worth of a single minute, you begin to unlock the true power of time. Think about the runner in a race. Sometimes the difference between first place and second place is not a minute, not even a second, but a fraction of a second. That sliver of time changes everything: the medal, the recognition, the achievement. Or imagine the pilot landing a plane. One extra minute of delay, one hesitation, could change the fate of hundreds of passengers. What looks small on a clock is not small in life. The truth is, many of us underestimate time because it feels abundant. We say, "I'll do it later. I'll start tomorrow. I'll change someday." But someday never arrives. Minutes slip through our fingers while we wait for a perfect moment. The harsh reality is this: if you don't value your minutes, life will pass while you're waiting for it to begin. Let's bring this closer to everyday life. Think of a student preparing for exams. Every minute of focused study counts, not just the long nights before the test. Or think of a parent with a child. Sometimes just 1 minute of listening, really listening, creates a memory that lasts forever. Even in business, an idea pitched at the right minute can open doors to opportunities that years of waiting could not. It's easy to dismiss minutes because they feel too small to matter. But consider water dripping from a faucet. One drop seems insignificant, but over time it fills a bucket. Over weeks it could waste gallons. Minutes are like those drops wasted. They drain away your life, invested. They accumulate into achievements. Here's something powerful to remember. A single minute has the power to change your entire life. 1 minute of courage can lead to asking for an opportunity. 1 minute of honesty can repair a broken relationship. 1 minute of silence can prevent words you'd later regret. 1 minute of kindness can alter someone else's path forever. So, how do we begin to value a minute? The first step is awareness. Stop believing that time is infinite. Remind yourself daily. This moment will never return. By training your mind to see minutes as precious, you naturally begin to use them with more intention. The second step is presence. Too often, we rush, multitask, or live distracted. But if you fully give yourself to the minute you are in, it expands in richness. 1 mindful minute of deep breathing, gratitude, or meaningful conversation often feels more fulfilling than an hour spent in half attention. And finally, the third step is discipline. It takes strength to say no to distractions and yes to using your time wisely. But when you practice discipline, each minute becomes a building block for the life you want to create. Remember this: a wasted minute is gone forever, but a used minute multiplies. If you spend a minute learning, it compounds into knowledge. If you spend a minute practicing, it compounds into skill. If you spend a minute showing love, it compounds into connection. The minutes you value today will return to you tomorrow as success, wisdom, and joy. So let me ask you now, if you had only 1 minute left in this day, how would you spend it? Would you waste it, or would you make it count? Carry that question with you, because when you start to honor even the smallest slices of time, you stop merely existing, and you start truly living. Imagine waking up each morning with absolute clarity about why you're here, what matters most, and how you will spend your day. Contrast that with the feeling of drifting, letting the hours slip by without direction. Which life would you rather live? The truth is, the difference between those two realities lies in one word: intention. Living without intention is like walking through a dense fog. You can move, you can even run, but you'll never know if you're headed towards something meaningful or away from it. Many people mistake motion for progress. They fill their days with activity, yet at night they lie down with the hollow realization that nothing significant was achieved. This is the silent tragedy of a life without intention. When you choose to live intentionally, you anchor every action to a purpose. You stop moving simply because others are moving. You stop saying yes to everything just because it's offered. Instead, you start making conscious choices. Every yes has meaning. Every no has strength. Ask yourself this simple but powerful question before you begin any task. Does this bring me closer to the life I want? Or does it pull me further away? That question can save you years. Because so much of our time is spent on things that look urgent, but are not important. Emails, endless scrolling, mindless routines. And while these may not destroy us, They quietly drain us of the minutes we could have invested in something worthwhile. Consider the story of a gardener. He has a patch of fertile soil, enough to grow anything he desires, but instead of planting roses or fruit trees, he lets weeds spread without care. Day after day, the weeds consume the garden until nothing of beauty remains. Was it because the soil lacked potential? No. It was because intention was absent. Our time is that soil. Without deliberate planting, weeds of distraction and regret will grow. Living intentionally doesn't mean controlling every second. It doesn't mean rushing or micromanaging your life. It means living with awareness. When you eat consciously, not just swallowing food while scrolling on your phone, but tasting, appreciating, nourishing yourself. When you work, pour yourself into it, knowing why it matters. When you rest, rest deeply, without guilt, because you've chosen to honor your body and mind. The key to intention is alignment. Aligning your daily minutes with your deepest values. If family matters to you, then make time for them, not just what's left over after everything else. If growth matters, dedicate minutes every day to reading, learning, or reflection. If contribution matters, spend time helping, mentoring, or uplifting others. Here's a practical tool. Begin each morning by setting 3 intentions for the day. Not a long to-do list, but 3 guiding purposes. For example, today, I intend to finish a meaningful part of my work project. I intend to give my full presence to my family in the evening. I intend to take 30 minutes for my health. These intentions serve as a compass. Even if distractions come, you can return to the path you set for yourself. Another truth about intention is that it gives courage to say no. Every yes to something meaningless is a no to something that could change your life. Many people fear disappointing others, but remember this: when you say no to things that drain you, you are actually saying yes to your dreams. Living with intention transforms not only your time, but your entire experience of life. The minutes no longer feel wasted, because even simple acts carry meaning. Folding laundry becomes an act of care for your home. Writing a report becomes a step toward your career goals. Sitting quietly becomes an act of recharging your soul. Intention is not about perfection. You will still have days that go off course. But even then, intention gives you the ability to pause, recalibrate, and return to what matters. Without it, you drift endlessly. With it, every minute becomes a step toward the life you were meant to live. So, ask yourself now, am I living by chance or by choice? The answer will define not only how you spend your minutes, but how you spend your life. Distraction is the greatest thief of time. In our modern world, it has become a constant companion. Every notification, every buzzing phone, every flashing screen pulls our attention away from what truly matters. We live in an age where information is abundant, but attention is scarce. And yet, Focus, the ability to direct your mind to one task without wavering, is where true power lies. Think of light. In its natural form, light illuminates. It helps us see. But when concentrated into a laser, it becomes so powerful that it can cut through steel. Your mind works in the same way. Left scattered, your thoughts may brighten your path, but they won't build anything solid. When directed with intensity, however, your mind has the capacity to break through obstacles and achieve the extraordinary. We often confuse multitasking with efficiency. But multitasking is a myth. The brain does not truly perform two complex tasks at once. Instead, it rapidly switches between them, losing precious seconds. And with each switch, focus weakens. You feel busy, but you are not productive. Imagine pouring water into 10 different cups at once. Each receives only a drop, leaving them all half empty. But if you pour into one cup fully, you fill it. Focus works in exactly that way. Think back to the times you've been deeply absorbed in something. Reading a book that gripped your mind, working on a project you loved, or practicing a skill that challenged you. Hours passed like minutes, and you emerged with results that felt almost effortless. That is the state of deep focus, where your mind and time align perfectly. Psychologists call this the flow state. It is when you and your task become one, and productivity soars. But how do you get there in a world designed to distract you? The first step is awareness. Recognize what steals your focus. Is it the endless scroll of social media? Is it the habit of checking emails every 5 minutes? Or is it simply a restless mind that craves novelty? Once you know your distractions, you can begin to guard your time. One powerful method is the practice of deep work. Choose one task that truly matters, not a trivial chore, but something meaningful to your goals. Then, remove every possible distraction. Silence your phone, close unnecessary tabs, find a quiet space, and most importantly, set a timer, even if only for 20 or 30 minutes. During that time, give your full, undivided attention to the task. Do not negotiate with yourself. Do not break your own promise. You will be astonished by how much progress a single focused session can bring compared to hours of scattered effort. Another way to strengthen focus is through small rituals. Some people light a candle before writing, signaling to the mind that it's time to concentrate. Others play a specific type of music, creating a rhythm for the brain to follow. These rituals may seem simple, but they condition your mind to enter a state of focus faster. It is also important to respect your brain's natural rhythms. No one can focus endlessly. Just as a muscle needs rest after exertion, your mind needs breaks to sustain clarity. Work with intensity, then step back, breathe, and return refreshed. Short bursts of true focus are more powerful than long stretches of diluted attention. Remember this: the future you dream of is not built by scattered minutes. It is built by concentrated effort. A book is written word by word, but only if the writer sits down and gives each minute to the page. A business is built by solving problems with complete attention. A relationship grows when you are fully present, not distracted by other things. When you master the art of focus, you reclaim your time. You stop giving your minutes away to distractions that do not serve you. You transform them into stepping stones toward your vision. Focus is not about doing more. It is about doing one thing with such clarity and commitment that it moves your life forward. In the end, it is not the hours you work that define your results, but the intensity of attention you bring to them. So guard your focus as if it were treasure, because it is. Where your focus goes, your time flows. And where your time flows, your life grows. When people imagine success, they often picture something grand, a sudden breakthrough, a big opportunity, or a life-changing moment that arrives overnight. But in reality, life does not transform in a single leap. It transforms quietly, gradually, and often invisibly through the power of small habits, practiced consistently over time. Think of a drop of water falling onto a stone. One drop alone changes nothing. But let that drop fall every day, and over months and years, it will carve a mark, a dent, even a hole in the hardest rock. That is the power of small, consistent actions. Too many of us underestimate these little moments. We dismiss the short workout, the few minutes of reading, the one healthy meal, or the single act of kindness. We say, it's too small. It won't make a difference. But what we fail to see is that each action is like a seed. On its own, a seed may look insignificant, but when planted, watered, and cared for, it has the potential to grow into a tree that provides shade, fruit, and shelter for years to come. Consider this: if you were to improve yourself by just 1% each day, it might not feel like much, but in a year, that 1% compounds into massive growth. More than 37 times better than where you began. This is the unseen magic of habits. Small efforts multiply when repeated. Let's look at some practical examples. Imagine someone who decides to read 10 pages of a book each night before bed. 10 pages is not a lot. It may take only 15 minutes. But do that every day, and in a year, you'll finish more than a dozen books. Books that may open your mind, expand your knowledge, and shape your future. Or think about health. A short daily walk of 20 minutes may not seem like exercise enough to change your body, but over time, it strengthens your heart, clears your mind, and prevents disease. What looked like a tiny action becomes a cornerstone of well-being. The beauty of small habits is that they don't require massive willpower. Grand goals often feel overwhelming, but tiny steps are manageable. You don't need to climb the mountain in one day. You only need to take the next step, and then another, and another. Over time, Those steps carry you farther than you ever imagined. But here lies the challenge. Because the results are not immediate, many people give up. You may brush your teeth once and see no difference, so you stop. You may save a small amount of money and feel it doesn't matter, so you quit. This is why patience is so important. Habits do not reveal their rewards instantly. They build silently, like roots spreading beneath the soil before a plant breaks through the ground. Think of a bamboo tree. When planted, it shows no visible growth for years. But during that time, it is developing deep roots underground. Then, suddenly, in just weeks, it shoots up rapidly, reaching extraordinary heights. Your habits work the same way. Invisible progress, followed by visible results. To harness this power, start small. Don't aim to change everything overnight. Choose one habit, something so simple you cannot fail. 5 push-ups, 1 page of journaling, drinking 1 extra glass of water. Then repeat it daily. Once it feels natural, add another habit. Slowly, these actions stack together, shaping a new lifestyle. Remember, the greatest danger is not doing too little. It is doing nothing. Small is infinitely greater than 0. Even a few minutes spent wisely moves you forward, while hours wasted on excuses take you backward. In the words of wisdom, success is nothing more than a few simple disciplines practiced every day, while failure is simply a few errors in judgment repeated daily. The question is, which path will you choose? So, as you reflect on your life, don't wait for the perfect moment, the right conditions, or the big breakthrough. Begin with what you have, where you are, with the smallest step possible. Because one day, when you look back, you'll see that those tiny habits created massive results. That is the power of small habits. Every person on this planet's given the same 24 hours each day. Yet, some create masterpieces, build empires, nurture families, or change lives, while others find themselves asking, "Where did all my time go?" The difference is rarely intelligence or opportunity. The real difference lies in how each of us chooses to use or waste our minutes. Time wasters are the silent thieves of our lives. They don't announce themselves loudly, and they don't feel dangerous in the moment. In fact, many of them feel comfortable, even pleasurable. But like small leaks in a boat, they slowly drain away the energy and focus you need to move forward. If you wish to make every minute work for you, you must first learn how to identify and eliminate these silent thieves. Let us begin with one of the biggest culprits: mindless distractions. Think of the hours lost in endless scrolling on social media, flipping through channels, or wandering aimlessly online. While technology can be a powerful tool, it can also become a bottomless pit that swallows your minutes without mercy. 5 minutes of scrolling turns into 50, and before you realize it, the day has slipped away. This is not to say you must cut all entertainment or leisure. Relaxation is necessary. But there is a sharp difference between intentional rest and unconscious escape. Intentional rest restores you. Unconscious escape drains you. Another thief of time is unnecessary conversations and gossip. Words are powerful, and relationships are vital. But spending hours discussing the failures of others, retelling stories that add no value, or engaging in arguments that lead nowhere, these are luxuries you cannot afford if you want to live fully. Remember this: small minds talk about people, average minds talk about events, but great minds talk about ideas. Let your conversations uplift, inspire, and challenge you to grow. Anything less is simply wasted breath and wasted time. Then comes procrastination, the most deceptive of all time wasters. Procrastination convinces you that you will act tomorrow, or next week, or when conditions are perfect. But perfection never arrives. The truth is, procrastination is nothing but fear disguised as delay, fear of failure, fear of discomfort, fear of effort. Yet, every time you postpone action, you are not simply avoiding a task. You are sacrificing minutes that could have carried you closer to your dreams. The best antidote is simple. Begin. Action, however small, is the only cure for procrastination's grip. There are also time wasters disguised as productivity. Have you ever spent hours arranging your desk, rewriting a to-do list, or attending meetings that achieve little? These activities give the illusion of progress, but they do not move you forward. True productivity is measured not by how busy you look, but by how much impact you create. Ask yourself often, is what I am doing right now leading me closer to my goals, or am I simply filling time? That single question can save you years of wasted effort. Now, how do we remove these time wasters from our lives? The first step is awareness. Take one full day and write down how you spend every hour. At first, this may feel tedious, but soon you will see the truth. You will notice patterns, wasted minutes that add up to wasted hours. Awareness shines a light on what you've ignored. And once you see the leaks, you cannot unsee them. The second step is discipline. Awareness without discipline is powerless. Begin by setting boundaries, limit screen time, decline conversations that drain your spirit, cut down tasks that pretend to be important but are not. Protect your minutes like a treasure, because that is exactly what they are. The third step is replacement. It is not enough to simply remove time wasters. You must replace them with meaningful actions. Instead of mindless scrolling, read a few pages of a book. Instead of gossip, call someone you love and tell them you appreciate them. Instead of procrastinating, take one small step toward the task you fear. Replacements transform the empty space of wasted time into fertile ground for growth. As you practice this, remember, eliminating time wasters is not about stripping joy from your life. It is about living consciously. It is about making choices that serve you, not control you. It is about ensuring that, when the day ends, you can look back and say, I used my time well. Time is too precious to be spent unconsciously. Protect it. Guide it. And above all, honor it. Because when you eliminate what wastes your minutes, you make space for what truly matters. And that, more than anything else, is how you make every minute work for you. Life only happens in the now. Not yesterday, not tomorrow, but here, in this very moment. And yet most of us spend our days, everywhere, but the present. We replay mistakes from the past. We anticipate challenges of the future, but we forget to actually live in the only time we can ever act. The present. Think about this. The past is nothing but memory. It has no physical existence. The future, no matter how vivid you imagine it, is still just a projection in your mind. The present moment is the only reality you will ever touch. When you learn to master the art of living fully here and now, every minute becomes richer, deeper, and more meaningful. But why is it so difficult to stay in the present? The truth is, our minds are restless. They wander like untrained animals, running from regret to worry, from distraction to distraction. Left unchecked, your minutes are lost in a haze of mental noise. This is why so many people can go through entire days, even years, without ever truly experiencing their life. Mastering the present begins with awareness. Awareness is the act of noticing. Notice where you are. Notice what you're doing. Notice the sounds, the sensations, the emotions you feel in your body. For example, when you eat, do you truly taste your food? Or do you rush through it while scrolling on your phone, barely aware of the flavors? When you talk to someone, do you hear their words fully? Or is your mind already preparing your response? Being present means giving yourself wholly to the moment, as if nothing else exists. Because in truth, nothing else does. Let's take a practical example. Imagine you are walking outside. If you're lost in thought, that walk is just another transition between 2 points, home and destination. But if you walk with presence, you begin to notice the rhythm of your steps, the coolness of the air, the colors around you, the vastness of the sky. The same walk transforms from a routine task into a moment of calm, clarity, and even joy. Nothing changed externally, but everything changed because you chose to be here. This is the essence of mindfulness. Not an exotic practice, not something reserved for monks or spiritual masters, but a simple decision to be aware, to live consciously instead of mechanically. The benefits of presence are profound. First, it dissolves anxiety. Most worry comes from imagining a future problem or reliving a past mistake. When you anchor yourself in the present, anxiety loses its grip because there is no fear in now. There is only experience. Second, presence deepens relationships. When you give someone your undivided attention, they feel valued, heard, and respected. That kind of connection is rare, and it can transform not only your relationships, but also your sense of fulfillment. And finally, presence improves performance. Whether in work, sports, or creativity, when you pour your full awareness into the task, you achieve flow, a state where minutes vanish and you perform at your highest potential. Of course, living in the present doesn't mean ignoring the past or neglecting the future. The past is a teacher, and the future is a vision. But the key is balance. Learn from the past, plan for the future, but live in the present. As one wise saying goes, yesterday is history, tomorrow is a mystery, but today is a gift. That's why it's called the present. Here's a simple exercise to practice presence. Stop for 1 minute each day and breathe deeply. Just breathe and notice. Notice the air entering and leaving your lungs. Notice the stillness. Notice the life in this moment. Do this regularly, and you'll find it easier to bring that same awareness into daily activities. Your work, your conversations, even your struggles. When you master the present, every minute begins to work for you. No time is wasted, because even the smallest moments are lived fully. Life becomes more vibrant, more meaningful, and more real. So, remember this truth. The secret to making every minute count is not found in the past, nor in the future. It is found in the quiet, powerful embrace of the present moment. And the more you choose to live here, the more alive you truly become. Time is the most precious resource we have, but time alone is not enough. You can have 24 hours in a day, yet feel as if you accomplished nothing. Why? Because time without energy is like an engine without fuel. Minutes may pass, hours may slip away, but without the energy to act, those hours remain empty. To truly make every minute work for you, you must first learn to master your energy. Think of energy as the currency that activates your time. Without it, even the longest day becomes wasted. With it, even the smallest hour becomes powerful. Have you ever noticed how a single hour of deep, energized focus can produce more than a whole day of tired, scattered effort? This is the power of energy. Let's look at an example. Imagine two people, both given the same 8 hours to complete a project. One of them stayed up late, scrolling through their phone, ate a heavy breakfast of processed food, and rushed into the day without rest. The other slept 7 hours, took time to stretch, ate a light but nourishing meal, and began their work with clarity. Both had the same amount of time, but only one had the energy to use it well. By the end of the day, their results are not equal. One feels drained and defeated. The other feels accomplished and in control. The difference wasn't time. The difference was energy. So how do we protect and build this invisible force? The first step is rest. Sleep is not weakness. Sleep is strategy. Many people wear exhaustion like a badge of honor, as if being busy and tired is proof of their importance. But exhaustion is not success. Rested energy is success. When you sleep well, you sharpen your mind, restore your body, and gain the clarity to use your minutes wisely. A tired body wastes time. A rested body multiplies it. The second step is fuel. What you put into your body directly shapes the energy you bring into each minute. Food is not just pleasure. Food is power. A sugary snack may give you a burst of energy, but it will also steal it away in a crash. On the other hand, a balanced, nourishing meal stabilizes your energy, carrying you steadily through the day. Think of it this way: every bite is a choice to either power your minutes or poison them. The third step is movement. Energy does not come from stillness. It comes from flow. Your body was designed to move, and when you move, awaken energy within you. A brisk walk, a few stretches, or even deep breathing can reignite your system and give your minutes new life. When you feel sluggish, don't ask for more time. Ask yourself if you've given your body enough motion to wake it up. Another key to energy management is protecting your mental state. Worry, stress, and negativity drain energy faster than any physical activity. Have you ever noticed how one stressful thought can leave you exhausted for hours? This is why mental clarity is essential. Simple practices like meditation, journaling, or pausing to breathe can help you redirect your energy away from what drains you and toward what sustains you. Remember this: the mind is the command center of your energy. Guard it carefully. Finally, consider the people and environments around you. Some people uplift your energy, others drain it. Some environments inspire focus, others scatter it. If you want to make every minute count, surround yourself with people and places that feed your energy, not steal it. Because energy, like time, is contagious. Energy and time together form the foundation of productivity and fulfillment. Time alone will not save you. Energy alone will not sustain you. But when they meet, when a rested, fueled, and focused body meets the steady march of minutes, extraordinary things happen. Suddenly, your hours multiply in value. Suddenly, you're no longer surviving your day, you're thriving in it. So, ask yourself, how are you treating your energy? Are you honoring it as much as your schedule? Are you protecting it as much as your goals? Because the truth is this: the way you spend your energy determines the way you spend your time. And the way you spend your time determines the quality of your life. Never forget, time is a gift, but energy is the key that unlocks it. Every person is given the same 24 hours in a day. The wealthy, the struggling, the dreamer, the leader, all share the same allowance of minutes. Yet the difference between a life of purpose and a life with regret often lies not in how many hours are available, but in how those hours are prioritized. The truth is simple: you cannot do everything, but you can do the right things. When you fail to set priorities, the urgent often replaces the important. Life becomes reactive rather than intentional. Emails, phone calls, endless to-do lists. They crowd the day, leaving little space for the goals that matter most. Think about how often you've ended a busy day, only to realize you made no progress on the things that truly matter. You were moving, yes, but moving in circles. Setting priorities is the compass that stops you from wandering and points you toward your destination. A helpful way to begin is by asking yourself, if I could only achieve 3 things today, which ones would truly matter in the long run? This question cuts through the noise. It forces you to separate the urgent distractions from the meaningful tasks. Suddenly, your time is no longer filled by default, but directed by choice. Let's consider a practical example. Imagine a student preparing for final exams. She has chores, social obligations, and plenty of distractions waiting to consume her minutes. If she doesn't set priorities, she may spend hours cleaning her room or browsing her phone, convincing herself she was busy. But if she chooses to spend her best hours on focused study, those minutes become investments. The result: greater confidence, better performance, and time left over to enjoy rest. The difference is not effort alone. It's the clarity of priorities. Prioritization is also about recognizing the law of trade-offs. Every yes you give to one activity is a silent no to something else. Say yes to an extra hour of television, and you've said no to an hour of exercise, learning, or meaningful conversation. When you see time as a trade, your choices become sharper. Suddenly, the value of each minute is magnified. It is helpful to divide tasks into categories: urgent, important, and unimportant. Urgent things scream for attention, like ringing phones or sudden requests. Important things, however, whisper. They are the goals, the dreams, the projects that rarely shout, but shape your future. And then there are the unimportant, the endless stream of distractions that add little value, but eagerly consume your minutes. The secret is simple: let the important drive your schedule, not the urgent or the unimportant. Some people fear prioritizing because they don't want to disappoint others. But remember, when you say no to distractions, you are not rejecting people. You are protecting your purpose. True friends and wise colleagues respect boundaries, and in time, they admire the discipline that allowed you to grow. Here's a small but powerful practice. At the start of each week, write down your top 3 priorities, the ones that truly align with your long-term vision. Keep them visible. Each day, review them and choose actions that move you forward. By the end of the week, measure your progress not by how busy you were, but by how faithful you were to those priorities. Famous words remind us, things that matter most must never be at the mercy of things that matter least. This is the essence of living wisely with your minutes. You don't need more time, you need clearer direction. When your priorities are clear, Decisions become simpler, distractions lose their power, and your life gains momentum. Setting priorities transforms your minutes into stepping stones toward your future. Without them, time slips away unnoticed. With them, every minute works for you. So, ask yourself now, what truly matters to me? Once you know, give it your best minutes. For in the end, a life well lived is not one filled with everything, but with the right things. Life has a peculiar way of slowing us down. We live in a world of constant motion, rushing to work, running errands, moving from one obligation to another. And yet, much of that time is spent waiting in traffic, waiting in a doctor's office, waiting for an email reply, waiting for an opportunity to finally arrive. For most people, waiting is a source of frustration. They groan at the red light, tap their feet in line, complain when schedules are delayed. But here lies a hidden truth. Waiting doesn't have to be wasted. Every pause in life is an open invitation, a chance to use time wisely, even when you cannot control the circumstances around you. Think about it. What if those 5 minutes in line at the grocery store could become 5 minutes of mental clarity? What if the 30 minutes you spend sitting in traffic could become 30 minutes of learning, reflection, or growth? Suddenly, waiting transforms from something that drains you into something that empowers you. Let's consider a simple story. Imagine 2 people sitting at the same airport, their flights delayed by 2 hours. The first person spends the time complaining, scrolling aimlessly through their phone, feeling more irritated with each passing minute. By the time the plane finally boards, they are drained, exhausted, and angry at something they cannot change. The second person, however, opens a book they have been meaning to read. They jot down ideas in a small notebook about their goals for the month. They even close their eyes for 10 minutes of quiet reflection. When the announcement finally comes, this person boards with more energy, more clarity, and more peace than when the delay began. The situation was identical. The difference was in how they chose to use their waiting. This principle applies everywhere. You may not be able to control the waiting, but you can always control what you do with it. Carry a book in your bag, download an audiobook, or keep a journal in your pocket. Small tools transform idle minutes into moments of productivity. You don't need hours to grow. You need intention. A single short podcast can inspire you. Writing one new idea down can spark creativity. Breathing deeply for a few moments can lower stress and renew focus. But turning waiting into winning is not just about filling the time. It's about shifting your mindset. Waiting teaches patience, and patience is one of the most powerful strengths you can develop. In a world addicted to speed, the person who knows how to pause with grace gains an edge. They don't lose energy fighting against time. Instead, they cooperate with it, finding value even in the stillness. Think of history's greatest builders, artists, and leaders. They all endured long seasons of waiting. Waiting for recognition, waiting for breakthroughs, waiting for results. What separated them from others was how they used those seasons. Some refined their craft in obscurity. Some learned new skills. Some built inner strength. Waiting became their training ground, not their stumbling block. Here's a practical exercise. The next time you find yourself waiting, instead of reaching for distraction, ask yourself, how can I use this minute well? If you're standing in line, practice gratitude. Silently list 5 things you're thankful for. If you're waiting in traffic, listen to something educational or uplifting. If you're waiting on life itself, for the job, the opportunity, the breakthrough, then use the time to prepare yourself, so that when the door finally opens, you are ready to walk through it fully equipped. Remember this, waiting is not empty. Waiting is preparation, and preparation is never wasted. The minutes you invest in learning, reflecting, or growing while you wait are minutes that pay you back when life moves forward again. So the next time life slows you down, don't see it as lost time. See it as a hidden gift, a quiet pocket of opportunity. Waiting can frustrate you, or it can fortify you. The choice, as always, belongs to you. Turn your waiting into winning, and you'll discover that every minute, no matter how still it seems, can work for you. There will come a day when your minutes will no longer be counted. The clock will stop, and your time on this earth will draw to a close. When that moment arrives, what will remain of you? It won't be the hours you spent scrolling through a phone, the days wasted in procrastination, or the years lost in fear. What will remain is the imprint of how you used your time, the life you created, the people you touched, the legacy you left behind. A legacy is not built in one grand gesture. It is built in the ordinary minutes of everyday life. Think of a sculptor shaping stone. Every strike of the chisel is small, yet over time, those countless strikes reveal a masterpiece. Your life is no different. Each choice you make, each minute you live with intention, becomes a stroke in the sculpture of your legacy. Consider this, the smile you offer to a stranger, the wisdom you share with a child, the courage you display in the face of challenge. These are minutes transformed into timeless acts. They ripple outward, touching lives you may never even meet. A kind word spoken today may echo for decades, passed from one heart to another. A dream pursued with persistence can inspire generations long after you are gone. But to leave such a legacy, you must begin now. Too often, people postpone what matters most. They say, "One day, I will write that book. One day I will spend time with my family. One day I will give back." But one day is not guaranteed. All you truly have is today, the minutes before you right now. If you use them wisely, Those minutes build toward a future that carries meaning beyond your lifetime. Ask yourself, what do you want to be remembered for? Do you want to be remembered as someone who drifted through life, letting time slip away unnoticed, or as someone who honored every moment, who lived with purpose, and who gave the best of themselves to the world? The answer to that question is not found in words. It is found in how you live your minutes. Leaving a legacy does not require fame, wealth, or recognition. It requires authenticity. It requires using your minutes to align with your deepest values. The parent who spends precious time nurturing their child leaves a legacy of love. The teacher who pours effort into shaping young minds leaves a legacy of wisdom. The friend who listens, encourages, and stands by others leaves a legacy of loyalty and compassion. These legacies are not written in history books, yet they live eternally in the hearts they touch. Remember this: the minutes you invest in service, kindness, and growth do not disappear. They accumulate, building a story larger than your own life. One day, when people speak of you, they will not recall how many hours you worked late into the night. They will remember how you made them feel. They will remember the courage you showed when it mattered, the guidance you gave when they needed it, the love you extended without condition. To make every minute work for you is not only about productivity. It is about contribution. It is about ensuring that the time you spend is not just filled, but fulfilled. This is the essence of legacy, living in such a way that your minutes do not die with you, but live on in the lives you've touched. So live today with the end in mind. If today were your last day, would you be proud of how you spent your minutes? Did you honor your purpose? Did you uplift others? Did you take a step, however small, toward the life you truly want to live? Every sunrise offers you another chance to add to your legacy. Every minute is a brushstroke on the canvas of your life. And when your time is complete, may the masterpiece you leave behind be one of love, courage, wisdom, and purpose. Because in the end, the greatest legacy is not measured in years. It is measured in minutes well spent. At the end of every day, we all arrive at the same crossroad, a moment where we can let the day slip quietly into memory, or we can pause, reflect, and transform it into a teacher. Reflection is not wasted time. It is the sharpening of the sword before the next battle. It is the act of stepping outside of your actions and looking at them with honesty and clarity. Without reflection, days blur together, mistakes repeat, and growth slows. But with reflection, every day becomes a building block of wisdom. Think of your life as a book. Each day writes a page. If you never stop to read what was written, you'll lose the story. Reflection is your chance to read, to understand, and to decide how tomorrow's page will be written more wisely. Daily reflection does not need hours. Even 10 minutes of stillness can shift your entire perspective. Find a quiet corner at the end of the day, silence the noise, and ask yourself, what did I do well today? What could I improve tomorrow? Did I use my minutes wisely? These simple questions open a window into self-awareness. Consider the example of a craftsman sharpening his tools. He knows that without maintenance, even the finest blade will dull. In the same way, your mind, your discipline, and your time management need sharpening. Reflection is the whetstone on which you keep your life sharp. Reflection also protects you from drifting. It's easy to go through days mechanically, checking boxes, following routines, and forgetting why you began in the first place. But when you pause to reflect, you reconnect with your goals. You remember your purpose. You realign your priorities. And you course correct before you wander too far off track. Another powerful gift of reflection is gratitude. So often we rush from task to task, chasing tomorrow, without noticing today's blessings. But when you look back at the day with a thankful heart, even small victories, a kind word, a smile, a task completed, begin to shine. Gratitude transforms minutes from being merely spent into being cherished, and cherished minutes are never wasted. Yet, reflection is not only about celebration, it is also about confrontation. You must have the courage to face your shortcomings. Perhaps you procrastinated. Perhaps you wasted time on distractions. Perhaps you spoke harshly or neglected what mattered. Reflection is not about guilt. It is about learning. The truth about Uncover is not meant to condemn you, but to prepare you. Tomorrow gives you another chance, but only if you learn from today. Journaling is one of the most powerful forms of reflection. Writing your thoughts forces clarity. It slows down the mind and captures what otherwise would be forgotten. Even a few lines written daily create a map of your journey. Over weeks and months, you can see your progress, notice patterns, and celebrate growth you might have overlooked. The discipline of daily reflection is also the discipline of humility. It is the acknowledgement that you are a work in progress, that wisdom is not automatic, and that growth requires awareness. The most successful people are not those who never fail, but those who never fail to reflect. As you embrace this practice, imagine ending each day not with regret, but with peace. Peace that you lived consciously. Peace that you learned. Peace that tomorrow will be approached with greater clarity. Minutes lived without reflection vanish into the dark, but minutes reflected upon become light, guiding you forward, reminding you of what matters, and strengthening your resolve. So tonight, before you sleep, ask yourself, what did this day teach me? Write it, whisper it, or simply hold it in your heart. Then rest, knowing that no minute was wasted, because even in reflection, every minute worked for you. And so, we arrive at the end of this journey together. We have explored the power of time, the beauty of intention, the discipline of focus, the strength of habits, and the art of reflection. But above all, we have returned to one truth, again and again. Every minute of your life carries meaning. Every tick of the clock is not just passing. It is offering you a choice to waste, or a choice to create, a choice to drift, or a choice to live. Time is the one resource every human shares equally. Kings and workers, dreamers and doubters, the wealthy and the poor, all are given the same 24 hours each day. The difference between those who live deeply and those who merely exist is not in how much time they have, but in how they use it. Think for a moment about the people who inspire you most. Their achievements may seem extraordinary, their lives almost larger than life. Yet they had the same minutes as you. What set them apart was their decision to honor time, to treat each moment as a stepping stone toward a greater vision. If they could do it, so can you. Do not believe the lie that greatness requires massive leaps. In truth, it is built from small, consistent steps, taken daily, in minutes you might otherwise overlook. Reading a page, practicing a skill, choosing gratitude over complaint, reaching out instead of withdrawing. Each choice is small, but together they build a life that matters. But there is another truth you must face. Time is not endless. One day, your minutes will run out. And when that moment comes, you will not wish you had scrolled more, complained more, or delayed more. You will wish you had loved deeper, learned more, taken more risks, and lived fully with the time you had. This is why making every minute work for you is not just about productivity. It is about meaning. It is about ensuring that when you look back, you see a story worth telling, a story of courage, a story of growth, a story of someone who didn't let life slip quietly through their fingers, but instead shaped it with intention and purpose. As you step away from this audiobook, I invite you to carry one simple practice with you. Pause before each choice and ask yourself, will this minute serve me or steal from me? If it serves you, lean into it fully. If it steals from you, let it go. With this one habit, you will transform your relationship with time. And remember, perfection is not the goal. You will waste some minutes. We all do. You will stumble. You will get distracted. You will lose focus. That is part of being human. What matters is not never falling, but always returning. Each day offers a fresh set of minutes, a brand new chance to begin again. So live intentionally. Focus deeply. Build small habits. Protect your energy. Reflect daily. And above all, cherish your time. Because when you honor your minutes, you honor your life. Let your life be proof that time, when used wisely, becomes more than numbers on a clock. It becomes a canvas on which you paint your dreams, a garden where you grow your character, and a gift you pass on through your legacy. Your minutes are waiting. They are ready to work for you. The question is, will you choose to work with them? The time is now. Make every minute count.